Are you one of those people that nothing ever works for you? No matter what you try, no matter what New Year's resolution you make, it doesn't stick. Then stick around for this episode as Robert explains exactly what is happening. It is my honor to introduce to you Robert Jean, founder and CEO of Skills to Change Institute, creator of Eutaptics and FasterEFT. He is known as the Einstein of the mind. Robert has spent over 4 decades helping people rewrite memories, shift emotional patterns, and create measurable, lasting change. And before we get started, hit subscribe so you can grow with us every single week as we explore the mind, human behavior, and practical skills that will transform your life. And now here is Sir Robert Jean.
Yeah, the black sheep of the family, the ones who try everything and nothing works for you. And I get this a lot. A lot of people come and say, well, nothing's ever worked for me. Nothing ever works for me. No matter what I try, it just doesn't work. And I said, well, at least you're successful at not completing anything. I mean, not people hit 100% never working. That's pretty successful. So what I usually do is I say, well, how are you doing this? What is it you're doing within yourself to successfully fail every time? I mean, that is a success. I mean, to lose every time, you got to be doing something right.
Right. You're going to have to explain that because someone that's listening to you and they're hearing you say that a failure is a success, they're thinking you're crazy.
Well, yeah, because, you have to understand, I'm coming from how the mind process information, right? And that's really what it's about, how the mind process information. So when we talk about in order to feel bad or in order to feel good, it takes the same amount of effort. It's the same process, which means they have to move focus, recall something, say something, imagine something to produce that, And so, it's and some people, it's a great pride to be the black sheep or the big time loser in the family, And even though they see it deemed as a failure, but it's not. It's a process. Now, where does it come from? How did they do this? Where did they learn this from? Well, most likely you were trained by whoever raised you, or how your parents treated you, how your brother treated you, how you treat yourself and imagine yourself and focus within yourself, and it's driven by fear and emotional drivers. And it's a role, you're trained to be the loser or the one who never wins. Now, there's reasons why, because it's keeping you safe, you're not getting the unwanted attention, you're not being bullied, you're not being punished, you're not being tormented. So you chose the easy, smarter way out. And you can't win. So why try, And if it is winning, you just doesn't feel comfortable because inside you goes, oh, something bad's going to happen. You better stop. Your leg will quit working. You'll have a stomach ache. You'll have a headache. Your brain will find a way to keep you in alignment with what you've been trained to do.
Okay, so when you're talking about the black sheep of the family, if you're following energy people on social media, a lot of the communities, like spiritual communities, they'll speak about the black sheep of the family as these old souls that have chosen this path. And the more effed up your life is in your earlier years, I guess the older the soul you are, but there's this acceptance of, and maybe there's this, I don't know how to explain it, like this, I don't know how to explain that, but this, being the black sheep is a good thing. Being the black sheep it's a path that you have chosen. So when you experience trauma, it's because you've chosen to experience the trauma. And from that, you'll learn lessons and you'll have experiences so that you can teach other people.
Well, to me, that sounds like a lot of horseshit, in my opinion. But let me tell you why. First of all, you're screwed. You picked the wrong one. I remember this lady had called, booked a session with me. She's in Paris, France. So she's actually from Texas. And so we're working on her traumas. Now she come from a very incestuous family. She's an ex-Marine, so she's a badass woman. She's been raped. She's been incestus, and she's been incest.
Yeah.
She has been almost killed. She witnessed horrible things. All right. Now, for me, my angle of thinking is great. We got a lot of good stuff to clean up. Right. So these are just in my mind, they're programming. So you were born into an environment, the environment trained you, and you stay in alignment with that training. And then one day she calls me after a few sessions. She says, Robert, you just don't understand. I go, understand what? She says, well, before I came to this planet, I chose this life. I go, okay, so hold on a second. So you chose this life before you came to this planet. And she said, yeah, I was up there with God looking through the books of life. And I picked this one. I said, did you read the fine print? Did you read the details of all the abuses and traumas you're going to go through? Did you see all that? Maybe you're dyslexic. You push 543 instead of 345.
Right.
And then again, why do people come up with this kind of philosophy? First of all, they don't understand how the brain works. And so they have to come up why I have this great bad experiences. So they create an identity with it. They create a value from it. And so, and of course, most systems out there do not do one thing. They don't know how to change memories. They don't know how to change the cause. You know? So again, they had to find some way to justify it, to embrace it, to live with it, to deal with it, but not get rid of it. Because again, you go to one of these individuals and say, hey, let's go change these memories. Say, no, 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 no. Who will I be? Because again, they use this as an identity value system. And so in my model of the world, now, by the way, people come to me and they say they have past life experiences or whatever. And I say, great, tell me more. All right. So what I will do is I'll go change those past life memories. Now, they're not true. As a matter of fact, I don't even believe in your childhood today. That means if you and I go to your traumatic childhood and the experience you experience, and we change those memories, your brain will not use those on you. Therefore, you're free to be different. Again, there's a lot of systems out there that says, well, the reason why I have these problems is because I'm Irish or Ukrainian or I'm Polish or I'm African or because I'm a woman or because I'm a man or because of my astrology sign, my numerology sign.
Right. Yeah.
All of these but all of these are saying I have a problem and I'm fully justified, so I have to learn to live with it and deal with it. And so, yes, it doesn't matter if you have a bad experience or a good experience or learning experiences, and what you do with it will create your life.
Right.
So this is just one of those scenarios or belief systems to say, yeah, I had all these bad things.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to push back a little bit on some of this. Okay. Okay. And so I totally am all for changing exactly what you talk about, what you teach, changing the memories, because we don't have to stay stuck. But the spiritual piece is what gets me, because
Well, which part is spiritual?
so the spiritual piece, as I mean, we're not just we're this consciousness. We're born into this experience, but what about our spirit? What about
what is spirit?
our
Then
soul?
I'm missing this. Again, let me explain something super important.
Okay.
All right. Inside of every person, every animal has what I call the learning machine or divine spark. That means a survival system. All right. You can call it soul. You can call it anything you want. But that part of you learns how to survive. It learns its environment, it learns its operating system. And of course, from that, we create a world and we create a reality. Right. So, obviously you've probably been drinking the Kool-Aid of something, giving you, this some kind of an idea, but you will, you have, by the way, you have been changing since you started doing my stuff.
Absolutely.
A part of you, you can call it the soul, you can call it whatever you want, is shifting without suffering as much
Absolutely. For
because
sure.
you're doing one thing is you're updating memories and references. All
Yes.
right. So, I do ponder these thoughts. Even my ability to say these things are just flowing out of me without me consciously creating that. It flows, but it doesn't flow out of accident. And, people say, well, you're so intuitive when you work with people. And I said, my intuition is built from my exposure and experience. You'd intuitively know to pick the wrong guy and the wrong situation because it matches your environment that you grew up in. Now, is it your soul? Well, I don't know. I had somebody knock on my door, two little guys with suits and a tie, and they said, "We're here for your soul." So I took my shoe off and whacked them with it. They said, "Not that soul." So I gave them the other one. And I said, "What soul are you talking about?"
Mhm.
Because, see, they want your soul, but they want you to believe in what they believe to be true. They want to indoctrinate you. They want
Mhm.
to tell you about sin and hell. And I said,
Right.
"What is hell?" And you saw the look on his face. And it wasn't a pleasant look. I said, "You got a good start on it." Because we've been taught and indoctrinated to believe certain things. And each of these groups usually do not show you how to overcome the self. That means if your eyes cause you to stumble, pluck
Mm.
it out. It's not talking about eyeballs. If memories inside you cause you pain, change it, update it, rewrite it. That's the true teachings. Change how you represent the world inside. So for people to go, there's again, I work with a lot of people who are quote unquote spiritual.
Hmm.
And then they put on the spiritual hat, but when they come home, they're not very spiritual.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
again,
$1,000,000%. Hmm.
but then also people will put the makeup on heavy and put the smiles on big, and they go into their fairyland when they go into their spiritual arenas.
Yeah.
But that is a role that they play. It's not true all the way through, only in certain arenas. And so the true deal, the deep core shifting and changes start one place and one place only. That is inside your mind and adjusting and changing the unpleasantries your mind holds and represents. Now, by the way, I do think that's very spiritual. Make
Right.
peace with your head.
Hmm.
Every person inside your head you hate is you. Every disruption inside you is about you.
Hmm.
And so to be a successful failure, you have to successfully fail within yourself first. And you have to collect memories and references and proofs to build it. So for the energy people, I like you guys. I really do. They come to me. They come to me sick.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
come to me sick. They come with really bad illnesses or with horrible demons and torments inside of themselves. And I help them clean it up, and they leave and they feel good. And then they write me, said, "Robert, you should try this energy work. It works." I said, "It wasn't working before until you came to what works now." Now, what I say works 100%. If you change inner references, your life will change.
Yes.
Chasing rainbows and rabbits and going to ayahuasca 12 times and rebirthing 13 times and walking on coal with Anthony Robbins 12 times, it doesn't really change inner references. And that's
Yes.
what we have to do. You want to evolve, you want to be successful, you are successfully failing. I collect bad sheep. Bad sheep come to me, black sheep, And you know why? It's the black sheep who says, "I'm not being like everyone else. I want something different. I reject these ideas."
So then that right there, why is it that there are some black sheep and some in the family, not at all?
Right. Well, there's people who go to and go away. All right. So that means there are people who are followers and people who are rejecting the system
Hmm.
because it didn't work or it caused them harm or it's because of the presenters who are presenting. They see the hypocrisy, the two-sidedness, or they just reject them because they hurt them.
Okay. Oh, how I still don't get that because there in my family, I'm obviously the black sheep,
Mhm.
and my sisters could have very easily, they could have been black sheep too, but they were part of the system. For me, I could, it's so easy to say, oh yes, it's because that's my soul's journey.
You're just trying to kind of give yourself some spiritual path.
Right, but that's
Instead of rejecting how your mother treated you, and you don't want to be like, you don't want to be her best friend because you don't trust her. The other sister said, I trust her because it's safer that way. I don't want to get harmed. So you may have chose a safer way for you consciously, and
Mhm.
yet it does reject the system. But
Right,
here's another bizarre thing, to be honest with you. That's all I know how to be, by the way.
right.
Your head is full of mother memories,
Hmm.
and you're just like her in reverse order. You're just like her in reverse order. She turns left, you turn right. She says yes, you say no. She says hot, you go cold.
That's
Because
interesting.
if she's in you, those
Hmm.
imprints drive you.
Hmm.
Now, how you represent them, by the way, how you represent them is paramount, of your life and your value. That your number one healer, my number one healer, and I say healer, my number one opportunity to improve the quality of my life is the people who hurt me the most.
Right.
My father was my stepfather. He's my dad. He's the only one I ever known. He was the one that caused me the most harm. He was the one I hated. He's the one I didn't like. I love my dad now. I made peace with my dad because it's not really my dad that I hated, but how I internalized my dad, how I created my dad based on what I experienced. So I had to change me and how I represent him inside of me, you know?
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
I'm definitely not arguing that piece at all because I know that doing this work, it absolutely works.
Mhm.
But I do get stuck on some of the spiritual things because I've always felt like I'm a very spiritual person, right? And you might have a different mindset about what spiritualism is.
Mhm.
And maybe some of the spiritual groups or maybe several of the spiritual groups are actually really toxic.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, see, you have to. I evaluate systems by its presumed truths. So that means if a
Yes.
system says you need me to help you and you can't do it on your own, then you ask. I always ask, what's in it for them? That system, and what do they presume to be true? And is that truth really a good truth? Now, again, so there is what I call it the idolitis. That means they idolize anything beyond themselves that they think are better than themselves, which means they have no value, basically. So they need a leader. They need some scapegoat because they can't be their own. They don't have their own value and power within them, and they give it and they surrender it over to other things. And they do. I call these people what you call the believers.
Mhm.
They just believe and they're willing to believe anything as long as it sounds good and makes them feel good and they don't have to take responsibility for their own identity and values and representations. So it's the believers that
Mhm.
were really, because again, it does help. It does really help. Like for example, you see me, you listen to me. Most of you guys, if you hadn't listened to my teachings, my angle of thinking is that you can heal yourself. You're not broken. You just got to learn how to take control of yourself. That's my system. A typical another system is someone died for you and you're guilty because he died. You're born guilty. You're born defective. And you just got to come to us and pay your 10%. That is not, by the way, that is not the original teacher's teachings. It is a
Mhm.
different system. But here's the deal. Who's benefiting from this? That's what
Well,
you look at the system. Who's
yeah,
benefiting?
the leader, the cult leader.
Well, again, you call it a cult. It's
It's a culture.
culture. They have cultural trainings, and none of them are bad, by the way. I do not throw them under the
Mhm.
bus.
Yeah.
But I will say this: with each system, who's the beneficiary of the teachings, and where's the value? Is the value being built in you or built in some other
Right.
system? And that's the big deal. Now, here's another thing too. The bad thing is, again, we call it the two models of the world. The lower model is, I need somebody to solve my problems. And here's another lower model of the world. I'm screwed. I just picked the wrong life this lifetime.
Right.
I'm screwed. I should have been a man instead of a girl. I'm
Yeah.
screwed because I stuck with this family. I'm screwed because of my gender, because of my astrology sign, my numerology sign. These are lower vibration, if you want to call it energy. These are helplessness. These are not personal power and personal value.
Hmm.
So I see that each and everyone on the planet has an amazing ability to manifest and produce. And so what I say is that everyone has this little, you can call it the divine spark, the spark of survival, the spark of creativity manifestation. And from birth, it's there. Then what happens? You're going to experience a crazy brother who hates you, who doesn't like you. And so this is laid on top of that spark. And then you
Yeah.
also get mother who picked on you. You also have bad experience. And underneath this spark, it's going to manifest and produce shooting through all the trainings. And now you're going to successfully fail over and over again because it's safe. All right. Now you're going to chase rainbows. You're going to chase rabbits. You're going to chase religions. You're going to chase structures
Right.
because you don't know your true power and your true value.
Right. And it really does feel like protection. It feels like safety instead of being powerful.
Mhm.
I get that.
Yeah, because again, you should shut up and do as you're told.
Absolutely.
Do
Yes.
not violate the rules
Yeah.
or I'm going to beat you again, they would say.
Yeah.
These indoctrinate you to think lowly. The woman, I have my, what you call my signature stories. I've seen it a billion times afterward, but the woman says, I just don't understand why I just don't shine. I'm smart as everyone else. And anytime I try to shine or think I'm somebody, something inside me makes me stop.
Yes.
And so I said, well, we start investigating. Well, tell me about your life. And then she goes, tells me two major stories. She had many others that she collected to build her great ability to not be successful. She said, well, when I was a young girl, mom got onto me saying, stop looking so pretty. You're hurting your sister's feelings. And by the way, stop showing off about how smart you are in math. It hurts your brother's feelings too.
Yeah.
Right
Hmm.
now we have mothers who are very insecure and jealous of you. We
Hmm.
have mothers or fathers who don't like you just because of how you look. These impact who you think you are. And so in order to evolve past that, you can put rocks on your forehead, you can do some fairyland drumming and ayahuasca and micro dosing and all this stuff. Listen, if it doesn't change the cause, which is memories, you're chasing rainbows and rabbits. And you'll never catch them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you'll feel good for a moment, but it doesn't create the real change. I've experienced that over and over. I spent years with the energy healing.
No.
And it would feel good in the moment. I would feel empowered, and then I would go back to the same environment and feel
Mhm.
so deflated.
That's because you're still carrying the response system in the environment.
That's part of the memories, right?
That's the trainings, emotional
Yes.
trainings. Yeah, and you can change it. You can update that.
Yes.
It's easy to do. I say it's easy to understand. It's a little bit of work to do because you're also violating the training you received, and it's like your whole body says no, but your brain says we're supposed to.
Right. So is that where people end up in avoidance from doing the work because it's like this is new, this is different,
Mm-hmm.
change is all around the corner.
And again, people talk about a narcissist will never change.
Yeah, that's not true.
Well, that's true. It's not true. But again, you will not go to that area you know you should change because it's too scary. Typical narcissist. By the way,
So that's a narcissist to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. By the way, everyone on
Wow.
this call, including myself, especially Crystal, are narcissists.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
But what is narcissism really? I mean, granted, you have to understand a lot of disorder. They call it a disorder, personality disorder, narcissist. And so, but we're getting a disorder programming from people who don't know how to change the real cause of all problems. Bipolarism. Manic depressive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, multiple personality. These are all
Right.
disorders given to you by people who don't know how to change it. And
Yeah.
of course,
Let's
it's a
add this.
disorder.
There's a book, like a big book of all the titles. Here's the label.
Yeah.
Here's the drug that goes with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But see, again, when you go to systems, I mean, religious systems, psychological systems, energy systems, if they're not changing the number one cause of all problems, which is memory, you'll never change it.
Yeah.
Sure, the buffets are great. The spiritual singing together and feeling good under the sun and dancing under the moon with feathers in your hair, no bras, whatever this is. This feels good. You're connecting, but it
Yes.
doesn't change memory. You're just having the experience. Yeah,
Yeah. It's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again, but again, the true deal is changing memories, and that's what I. By the way, they said know thyself. What does that mean? Know what you're doing within yourself, to yourself, by yourself. You know, that's the true freedom. Now, again, to successfully fail, you're doing the right things. There's systems that make sure you do that so that you'll stay alive. So, to
Can you
solve
name?
to solve the riddle is knowing how your brain works.
Yeah. Can you name some of the systems that keep us safe, that keep us stuck, or that keep us from doing the inner work?
Well, there's a lot of them. If I think too highly of myself, someone's going to knock my feet out from under me. Another one is, who do you think you are? Somebody? You can't outperform your mother. It's not safe. You can't outperform your brother. It's not safe. There's a billion different ones. I don't have them on top of my head, but there's a lot of programmings from school, from religion, from your siblings, from your parents. All of these emotionally indoctrinate you to keep yourself low. So
Yeah, you could probably write a book on all of the different belief systems.
there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weird
But
thing is, I deal with it all the time. I talked to one of my employees. They live in the Philippines. And of course, I said, of course, one of my requirements that you got to take the courses and watching the videos so you can know who I am and what I do. And she hasn't. I go, you need to do that. I said, well, what do you think about me? He said, well, we kind of see you like a messiah or something like that. I go, what? I don't see myself. I mean, I'm very smart in knowing how it works and kind of put it together, but I'm just like you guys. I understood it. I put it together. I'll show you how to do it. You can do it yourself. But that's just weird. It's not like I'm special. I never joined the Special Olympics. I guess I could. But the point is, I'm just like anyone else. I grew up very poor. The small bus from school did take me and my siblings. That's a true story. I was
yeah.
in a special class because we were very poor. You
Wow.
know. So again, my passion for learning developed not in school, outside of school, because I want to know how things work and the mechanics of it. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
believe in you. I believe in everyone here. And like the one woman's she's been coming to me for quite some time, and she's so extremely depressed. And so we're cleaning up her depression. We're cleaning up, and every session is good, and everything's working out perfectly fine. And then she just disappears. She's all right. So all her good stuff is good. And then about 2 years or 3 years later, she books an appointment, and she's not happy anymore. And of course, what I teach, guys, is how to regulate, monitor, and address how you feel today. I teach you how to walk through life and handle difficult things. It's a philosophy of life. It's neuroplasticity 101. It's just taking control, honoring yourself, and cleaning up as you go along. Well, she didn't do that. She dropped it. She didn't continue. I tell people, use it all the time. I do. And now she's severely depressed.
Right.
And from
Why did
zero to,
she? Yeah.
well, I'll get to it. Oh, I'll just get
Yeah.
to it.
Okay.
So here it is. She's really depressed from 0 to 10. It's like a 7 or 8. And she says, I just don't want to change anything. I don't want to get my depression. Well, how depressed are you? She said 7 or 8. I said, well, you're underachieving. I mean, if you're a 10, you're top shelf. You're just mediocre. Let me help you be more depressed because I know how it works. I know the mechanics of it. And she said, no, thank you. I said, why don't you want to get rid of the depression? And this is what she said. She said, when I feel really good, when I finally something bad happens and it's really bad, I don't like the deep shift. I'd rather just feel bad all the time.
Mm,
Instead of when you have a bad moment, you start tapping, working, and changing it. She didn't do that. And so what she did, so it's like using toilet paper, in my opinion, or a toothbrush. It works when you use it. So I teach a way to process the world. If you're not processing the world in a positive way by releasing, not personalizing, and not taking any captives home, you begin to reminisce, replay, build something very scary, and then become sick. So most people quit because they get close to violating an internal rule, an
yes.
internal value that they've learned to stay alive with. So that's why.
What kind of rule? What kind of rules? Like when someone gets to that place where they quit, you're saying that there's like they get to some kind of rule that this is how they survive and they hang on to that so they stop doing the inner work. What are these rules?
Yeah. So again, we mentioned a little bit earlier. So
Yeah.
what happens is you need to stand up for yourself, but you're too scared. That's
Mm.
a rule or a value that you learned because you can't stand up to your daddy, you can't stand up to your mama because you know what's going to happen.
Oh
So this
yeah.
is an inner rule, an inner value. I'm afraid because I'm going to get hurt. That's
Mm-hmm.
a rule. That's a value. That's an identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hmm.
So successfully failing is okay, but it's not best. And then again, just like the lady, she said, well, instead of using the talents and skills I have given her and I showed her, and I'm available for her to heal and change this stuff, she just chose to stay in her misery because, again, there's familiarity to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not
Right.
a good one.
Yeah.
But again, so a lot of people who have come to see me, taken my trainings, work on themselves, it's hard to go back when you change all the references.
Mm-hmm.
When you update the memories, you change the memories, you build them and compound them. You can't go back to acting the same way because your references have changed. That's why people quit. Now, if they quit and they're not finished and they surrender and give in, they go back to the other, but it will not be as bad as it was before
Mm-hmm.
because you've already updated some parts of it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, and I've noticed that I've done a lot of sessions already.
Hmm.
And every single time I'm a little bit more empowered, it affects the relationships that are around me and they don't like it.
Right.
And so that's where it feels rough for and maybe it doesn't have to feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, there's two parts to relationships. One, you play a role, and if you evolve from the role, the others may not like it. If there is a good, we want to say a bond or a good commitment between the two, they can work it out. And sometimes it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And one person can solve it. One person can add to it. But the problem is like say for example, you and your brother. He beat you up. He does all this stuff, and you have a good relationship. You're used to it, right? And then you start changing and you don't like it anymore and you stand up for yourself. Well,
Yeah.
he's not happy with you anymore. He says you don't love him anymore. He says you don't care about him because you won't play in the dirt with him.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So then, but then again, you may want to play in the dirt with him. You may want him to be a part of you, be a part of his system. So you may surrender and start to feel a little bad. So there is this system inside. Now it can totally evolve for the positivity too, but it takes one basic system that makes it work, and that is your thinking system, or whoever it is. I'll just say you because you're in front of me. But the thing is that you can evolve it and you can move forward past it. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that what trauma bonding is? Yeah, can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. She changes your diaper. She fed you. She did all these things. And also, by the way, you're like a blank slate. She's conditioning you to be a part of that conditioning system. You love you. By the way, you do have your feel goods with it. You do have your positive
Right.
connections, and it's those positive connections that keep you coming back. And just like an addict, let's say when we use a gambling aholic, a gambler. Why does a gambler keep going to the machines and throwing money away?
Yeah, for the win.
For the win. So in their mind, they have this high or this imprint, this great feeling of winning, even though they're losing more than winning. But it's the image, it's the imprint, and it's the idea that keeps them going back. Why does a drug addict do the same thing? It's exactly, they got the high within them. They have this great escape called the drug. And you do it too, but you do it with your smiles and your fairies, imps and demons,
I have no idea what you mean.
Well, you go into the fairyland. Everything's
Yeah.
beautiful, always want. You want to paint a pretty.
Yes. Yes.
But underneath, behind the picture is the real truth. Now,
Yeah.
when it's all the stuff behind the picture and the stuff in front of the picture, they blend together and work as one. You're congruent all the way through your whole life. Inside your head, in public, or at home alone, or with your family. That's the healing process. I always say, check your spiritual work. Go visit your families and your in-laws. Walk down the hallways of school. Go to the churches and see if you're tormented. Go look at the old house you used to live in. Does it stir up your stuff?
Look
Because
at all the
again,
photos.
yeah, but whatever it is, yeah. So again, you want to be the master of your mind in your life.
Yes.
Yeah. So trauma bonding basically means you're willing to suffer the misery, so you'll get your feel goods. Because remember, what are your feel goods? The feel goods are your connections.
And then how do you how do you change that?
You have to go change the memories in the past, how you represent the memories in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, trauma bonding is just a thing that you're just, it's family. Also you made a decision to commit, and you're just sticking with it.
Oh, interesting. Yes. How do you know that? How did you figure that out? That's very interesting.
Well, how I figured it out, because I work with a lot of people and I see the changes when we do certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so someone who has a stronger value system with commitment, like they're committed to something, to the nth degree, they are committed. They can be so committed then to being stuck in something or in the suffering.
Right. Well, again, we create what you call an inner identity or an inner reference, and it could be an emotional link to dad or mom. Sometimes we actually mimic our parents, one of them or both of them or someone else. It could. So we actually take on the role as if I were the other person. And they stay in alignment with it because that alignment is love or connection. And you don't want to abandon that relationship. Even though they're dead and gone, you're acting the role of the other person. You're feeling as if you know what the other person feels. You're acting that way. So that is a trauma bonding in a sense that you're willing to play a role that you've always known. Mom always done it. You watched her, you internalized her, so that you become like her. Or dad, whoever it is, depending on
Right.
the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So then in regards to the trauma bonding, why do some relationships have such a strong pull?
Well, again, it's just emotional conditioning. They're conditioned,
They're
and it's
conditioned.
not safe.
Mm-hmm.
And and here's another thing too. How addictions work is, let's say I'm gonna use sex because sex is the easy one, or chocolate chip cookies, whatever. So here it is. You're a young man and a young girl, maybe freshly married. Well, we'll do it legally married, right? And of course, sex feels really great. It's such a good feeling, right? And say the woman or the man, and they want some more, and it feels really good. And then and they want some more, and the other says, "No, I have a headache. No, I don't want to." Well, inside of that person, they're still playing the feel goods in their mind, and now the feel goods are amplified because now you can't have it. And then when you finally get it, oh my God, it's so beautiful, so wonderful, blah blah blah. Now that's the same way with cookies. That's the same way with any other drug. And then they won't let you have it again. So they create what you call an addiction to the person, or the addiction to the practice, whatever it is. And so they get their fixes. They get their fixes. It's almost like a little baby who needs a bottle. That's a fix. I need my fix. And I only look at you for my fix. No one else can do that. Now, again, it could be anything. It could be mom's behavior. It could be your husband. It could be your wife. It could be even religion, even cutting. People who cut themselves.
Right.
Why would they cut themselves? I work with a lot of cutters. One woman had probably hundreds of cuts on her legs and her thighs. And I said, well, why would you cut yourself? Because it feels good. I go, how in the hell does it feel good? Well, first of all, what drives the cutting? Their head is full of emotional torments. Their head is full of all the torments in her mind. And she says, when I cut, I feel the release. I said, but you got hundreds of cuts. It never worked. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a temporary release. It's no different than drinking a fifth of vodka, or eating a whole cheesecake. It's basically, I call it escapaholism. And when we're here eating the cake, or we're here cutting ourselves, or we're here smoking, or whatever you're doing, it diverts attention. It's a defrag. Not a defrag. It's a pattern. You're just interrupting a pattern. So you just go back and you try to find your feel-goods, escapism. But then something stirs it up and you go right back. And then when you go right back, it feels even better when you cut, drink, drug again. So it becomes it's a hamster wheel that you don't know how to get off of, and it's your will,
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oof. And so it sounds like intense emotions for that. It's very similar, to the trauma bonding.
It's all the same systems. All of it's the same.
Really?
It's in the same head.
Right.
Why would somebody be obsessive compulsive? They write down their goals, the things to do, and they have to do that. They have to do that. Or they turn the light switch off 20 times, or wash their hands 15 times, or turn the stove off 100 times, or check under the car 20 times or more, because they're trying to stay safe. And they're staying safe from a fear that is created within themselves. So again, successfully having the problem. Now, I will say this. People listen to me. They know, and I clearly say, we can change the memories. We can change what creates this. That's when some people pack their bags, said, I'm too scared, I don't want to. Now, some people say that's a narcissistic trait, and it really is. We all do it at certain times and places. But when you're brave enough, now why would people not want to go there? I'll tell you why. They went to therapy, and when they got done, they want to kill themselves.
Right.
or it seems to be such a gigantic monster inside of
Yeah.
themselves.
It's too big.
It's too big.
It's so big. How do you even start unraveling this monster?
Now, we started unraveling yours, and it was scary, wasn't it? Wasn't it scary? I mean, people like, I did work with a session the other day with a woman, and again, she has pain in her body. And the pain level starts probably around a 5. When we get to the emotional stuff, it jumps up to a 10 or 15 just by talking emotionally. So the unconscious is grabbing you by the body. It's in your stomach, in your heart, in your body limbs. And it's doing it to keep you safe and also keep you from violating the system that we're so afraid of. You know, that's how the system works. You know, that's how it works.
Yeah. So what are some other things that people might say to keep themselves from actually being successful in 2026?
Well, again, what's keeping them from being successful is that they're just repeating a cycle. Again, like I said, it's violating something inside.
Right.
But see, it's just like we'll call her Rose. Now, Rose, she's in her probably late 50s, maybe early 60s, and every first of the year she'll do her dream board. She says, "I never get anything on it."
Oh, shoot.
Every year, it never works. It never works. And so she took the course, course, and you can see her in the course, and she's telling this. It says nothing's ever worked. It's, no matter what I do, everybody else, all my friends, they get it. I don't get anything. And that became a value for her, and it started when she was a child, and it had a lot to do with not getting a horse she wanted. So she created a value based on a really big disappointment. And she's still in her 50s, and we're talking about probably 45, 50 years later, still being driven by one basic trauma, which is, it is a trauma not getting a horse to a child, because it hurts. It affects your identity, and it affects all her decisions from that point forward.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So again, you're not broken, you're not screwed up, and your mind's manifesting. Knowing how to change that will set you free. And it is work. It is work. This is for the brave in heart, and it's for the one who said, "I've had enough. I'll do whatever it takes."
Okay, so for manifesting and like experiencing your goals coming into fruition, how do we clean up the negative memories and inner references in order to achieve that? Do we hold in our mind something positive? Like, so for someone listening that doesn't quite understand how you do this, what would you say?
Well, a lot of people, and if this doesn't work, I'll just tell you it doesn't work. It may feel good for a while. So you have something you don't want, and so you're going to create over here something you do want. So you're going to create an alternative reality you'd like to have. Something positive. You're going to pretend to be positive.
Right.
The problem is that one's still there, and you focus on this one. Now, this could be, now you can just, this dream you'd like to have, and it's good to feel it, but if that's still there, this here, if it has less power than this one loses. Your dream, goal, desire will not win, because this one here has more value, has more pain, more security, more safety in it. So creating an alternative reality is a temporary fantasy.
Wow. So that's the same as you were talking about gambling, the win, the high, the feeling. And that doesn't mean you're going to manifest it because you hold that image in your mind, because that's what a lot of manifesting coaches will talk about. Hold it in your mind, feel the emotions, get lost in it. And I could so easily do that, but nothing happens.
Well, it felt good while you did it.
Yes. And I
The cake and cookies are gone, then you go back to reality.
I don't have a problem with food, but that's
a scenario. That's a parallel. So that's your cake and cookies. You go to this fantasy, it feels good. Absolutely. It's the high. It's like people who vegetate, called meditation. It feels great when you do it. It doesn't change your shit.
Right. So then we change the negative experiences, inner references. That way we can experience the goal. We can, whatever it is we have for 2026.
Right. So again, you can't escape you. And that's the whole you. Honestly. I gotta, this is sea salt. So I have this cup and it's full of all my fears, hurts, pains, and worries. It's over here. There's all the pains, hurts, and worries, and it's full to the top, completely full. And you over here with your fantasy like to have something positive.
Yeah.
This is not true. This is your internal reality. Which one wins? That one. But what I do, and I show you how to do it, is we go inside the cup. We change those realities and shift them internally. Actually, neurologically change the memory. When you go back and visit the bad memory, it's not bad. It's actually a good memory. As we shift and change the pains, the hurts, the fears, and worries, every reference. Now, by the way, remember this. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Every person in your mind is yourself. Every person in your mind, every action, every play is an instruction on how to live your life. So if you have lots of beatings and abuses growing up and they're still inside your head, that's your real life. That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to always be. Now, again, the fantasy, the reality is what you hold inside. And by the way, when I say reality, it's not really real, but it seems real to you.
Right.
All of it is a fantasy.
This is really interesting because as you were holding up the cup, and like that's the essence of me. Like that's who I am. That's everything that all the memories, references, everything. Now, when you said over here you're pointing over here to the visualization, the feeling good. That's escaping who you are.
Exactly. But let me just say this. This cup are the memories.
Yeah.
All the memories. And underneath the cup is the divine spark. This spark will shoot through this and create and manifest.
Wow.
And now again, the memories aren't you.
Wow. So this is so interesting.
The memories aren't you. Now let me just say this. You could have an aneurysm, you can have a head trauma, and all of a sudden your identity and value say you can't even walk anymore. Then you have to develop new memories and new references and new identity. So you have to understand the memories inside you aren't you, but you're using them. It's almost like your breakfast. You know, you had breakfast this morning. Now you are not the breakfast before it goes in, and you're not the breakfast while it's in. Now your brain and your body will use parts of that breakfast, and eventually the breakfast will be flushed. Right? It's all gone.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like memories. Now again,
Yep.
memories that you hold inside, and the nutrition from the breakfast is still being used. And if you build an identity based on just a memory, memories are just how-tos. And the true essence, your true essence is a manifester and producer. It's a creator. That's your true essence. And what you're creating, successful or failure, are all successes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
again, your memories aren't you, but your brain, your survival system, which is the light that shoots through, or the operating system, the survival system, will use what's stacked on top of it. Bad memories or good memories, to the brain, neither one of them is bad or good. It's just what is. And for your brain to depress you is a good thing because you've learned it's safer that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Interesting. Wow.
So again, if you don't like what you're producing today, it's very simple. You know, it's the ultimate manifestation process. Basically, what I want is at the top, and then you write down every reason why you can't have it. Every memory that supports not having it. That's your true essence. Now, to have it, you got to change your essence, which are the unpleasant memories, the fears, the hurts, the traumas, what you witnessed, what you heard and experienced. You change that, then your essence, which is shoots through it, and it starts creating the opposite of whatever's remaining inside you.
Wow. So we'll be doing this work for our whole life.
Only if you want something better.
Right. I guess whatever we're experiencing, if you want something different in your life experience, then change what's inside.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, if you don't want to change it, that's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just going to repeat the same cycle your parents did.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
you're going to repeat. Nothing's bad. If you die tomorrow because you scared yourself to death, that is a success. You know, you just sped up the death process.
Right. And that's a choice.
Yeah, so people going through divorce, people who've lost their job, or retired, or people who witness bad things, all of these can take you to hell, or all these can take you to heaven. The determining factor is how you internalize it, how you process it, and what you do with it. Both of them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's and there's a learning lesson on either direction you go, neither one of them. Both of them takes just as much work. One of them just feels a little better.
I think it's just really fascinating because I think I caught something with the container, because the container being even our body and the essence of who we are. I'm no longer, because when I look at manifestation, I think the way Joe Dispenza teaches it or other spiritual teachers teach it is to hold that positive vision. But when I hold that, I always feel like I'm escaping. I always feel like I'm stepping out of myself to experience, to manifest something. But with this, I don't have to step out of who I am. I change these inner references to, so let's say there's like a, let's say I'm changing, I want to, I don't want to use a real one. Let's say I want my business to grow, okay? And I have like a, like a fear around, or I have a scarcity mindset. And so I would find the inner references where I have scarcity mindset, and I'd find, oh, you know what? That's the way Dad thought. Now I'm just repeating Dad's pattern. And so I'd start to change that, and I would make that positive, which is, when I change that, I'm making a positive imprint, which is the positive to manifest that experience. You need to help me.
Let me clarify.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
For the common folks to understand. So she has a scarcity mindset, and this scarcity mindset is trained. Now, how is it trained? She has memories of Dad, Mom, other people, and what her brain captures these memories and internalize it. So in order to move past that mindset, by the way, this is a successful mindset based on trainings. In order to change that, she has to go inside of her mind and remember, like I said earlier, every person inside your mind is yourself. So she's going to go step into Dad's mind and his body and change how she internalized Dad. Remember, when you visit a memory, because it happened outside you, and our brain takes it in and creates the entity called Dad. But it's really your creation based on your translation, interpretation, and meanings to it. So when she goes and changes her dad inside of herself to where her dad is speaking and acting in a prosperous way, and we amplify that memory, and we can't find the other because we just updated that memory reference. Now your brain has a standard to operate from. This is the new standard. Now she has to get all the other references too, because that's where the conflict will start happening. And also there's a conflict of letting go of Dad's reference. And because, maybe you think this is love. Maybe this is only connection I have with Dad. And it's not a good one. So being a failure and unsuccessful like Dad doesn't win any kudos in heaven, It doesn't improve the quality of your life.
Yeah.
So this is the key. You must identify update how you represent your past. And if you just remember something really important, the past cannot be changed. It doesn't exist. Your own personalized translation of the past can be changed and adjusted. I've talked to my brothers and sisters, we're talking about an event, and we have 5 different events, 5 different angles, 5 different things, same event. So it goes back to internal translation. So to set yourself free is know how to change within thee.
Yep.
Every person, every character, every sensation, every emotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I want to add to what you said, and hopefully people can understand me. when you go no contact with parents, because I am in no contact with any of my family,
Mhm.
I found that whether I work with a practitioner or I'm working with myself, I do see where I want to hold on to it. So you're talking about the brain links. I
Mhm.
see where I want to hold on because,
There's protection there. There's protection because you still have the memories of them attacking you and hurting you. Is that right? Yeah. And it's still controlling you. As a matter of fact, that program affects your relationship with your husband, your relationship with your kid, and the relationship with other people. So that's a driving force within you. Right. So now what? Now again, remember, you want to hold on to this to stay alive and safe, right?
mhm,
But it also keeps you trapped, suffering, and in misery. Now, if you change all that, now here's the bizarre thing. If you
mhm.
change the memories and the feelings that you have towards them and whatever they did, and they're out of you, and if they try to pull the shenanigans on you, you just won't put up with it because you've already cleared it. If you still have those pains, hurt, and miseries, and they start to do, and you don't change it, you say, I'm just going to forgive them from the conscious head.
Right.
And then they're going to pull their shenanigans on you. You're going to fall back into your own misery. You're going to be
Yeah,
repeating the pattern, and you can see it today. Even
absolutely.
you're still living that life as if you're living at home, even
Mhm.
though you hadn't talked to them in 20 years,
Right. 10.
10 years. So by the way, this is your programmings. This is your curse. This is your stuff, and it won't go away until you change it within yourself.
Hmm.
That's the journey within.
Yeah, exactly. So going no contact doesn't mean you're still not in contact because it's still within us,
And
in
you.
me. Yeah,
Like
in us.
you could pack your bags and move to Australia and your parents beat you there. They'll show
Right.
up in a different pair of shoes, they have a different name, but you're gonna still feel the same.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't want to go deeper into it. I'm just gonna cry. Uh,
But listen, you're getting close. You're cleaning up. You're moving towards
yeah.
there. You're going inside of the world, inside of the. I call this stuff here is the holy of holies, where you dare not to tread because you're so scared.
Right.
But when you go in, you make peace with it. Though I walk through the valley of the in-laws and outlaws, I have no fear.
Hmm.
So there is a way to clean up.
Yeah, there is.
Now, guys, I know this is it's a very rich topic, and the idea of changing memories may seem a bit bizarre, or it does make sense to me logically. You can update how you represent things in your head and your mind. Memories are not real, but they sure feel real, and they make you squirm in your seat when you shouldn't. So if you want something better, learn how to change yourself. I'm not a salesman, but I will tell you this. My system, you can change yourself, will help you do that. Everyone has the option to choose. Everyone has the option. There's only one way out, and that is going within and changing what you hold and how you represent it. I mean, you'll wear out a bunch of shoes trying to run. You can't run fast enough because you take you with you and all the history in your mind.
Yeah.
So just learn to be your own best friend, learn to love yourself, like yourself. And, if this content is good, share it with somebody else that you care for. If this content is good, ring the bell, subscribe, do something different. Be the black sheep, the odd one, in a way that your life will be better. That's what it's really all about.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. Thank you. All right. And thank you for joining us on another episode of the Robert Jean Experience. Check out the links in the show notes to explore sessions, tools, resources to help you navigate life. And subscribe to the podcast, as Robert said, to stay connected and get a front row seat to Robert's wisdom, insights, and all his stories to help you fully step into your full potential for 2026. And see you in the next episode.
see you guys.
See
Peace.
you. Peace.
All right, that was good.
Yeah. Ah, you got me crying again. Thanks a lot.
Well, I didn't make you cry. You did it by yourself. You're a professional.
Yeah. Oh, but it's so true. But I've started working on that because it would come up every time my dad comes up. It's like I know he's the abuser, but I
Mhm.
hang on to him.
Well, because you love him. And then, of
So
course, you use the same program on your relationship, your partners, and everyone else. And you can love him, but not be abused.
yeah.
So yeah, that's that. There's,
Then
I
I
mean,
miss him and it's so stupid because he's not nice and my dad is really a not he's not a nice man and I always left crying because he would call me stupid, tell me to shut up, I wasn't doing something right.
hmm,
I'm very similar to I know
other things in your life, right? Can you see it? Can you see it? But so that's why
now
that's
I
why you
can
keep going back. That's because that's your emotional bonding.
yeah, but I would not have gotten this far as I am if we wouldn't have done the work, Robert.
I
I
know.
wouldn't be here where I'm like choosing
Yeah.
to love myself or honor myself. Like I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah.
be.
Right. Well, to honor yourself and love yourself is change stuff inside yourself. Now, also making friends with him and all others
Right.
sets you
Right.
free. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, good job. But this is going to be great on the video.
Oh no. Oh gosh.
But see, people like this stuff, real stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can add it. I don't care because it's maybe I will care if I watch it. I'll be like, oh no.
No, I'd be honest with you. I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's a
Oh,
transformation, and people watch you and they'll say, "I want some of that.
right. Well, it's true.
I want some of that."
And
And of
I
course,
do want to share that. I do want to share that.
another thing too, people like me because I'm straightforward. I tell you the truth. I say this is how you do it, and I'm gonna call horseshit when it's horseshit.
Yeah, that's why I like you too. Well, you tell the truth. I love someone that tells the truth. It's very I like it.
Yeah, it's important.
Hmm. I'm a Scorpio. So, not that I'm putting all my identity in that I'm a Scorpio. Not doing it, but really like when I see like when it comes to honesty and commitment, you talked about commitment today too, which is really big on my list of values. When I'm committed, I will stay even to my own hurt based on biblical teaching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I see where I do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was taught to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with committing and sticking to something you believe in. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a great virtue.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. And another thing too, obviously you've committed to healing yourself too.
Yeah.
I mean, you did come back to the
Yeah.
system that actually works, so that's good.
Yeah. Yes, I'm definitely committed to working on myself.
And I noticed that you did by level 3 and 4, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's a sign of an intelligent person too.
Yes, absolutely. Intelligent. Now I
All
have to
right.
believe that. I haven't fully believed that because I've been called stupid so many times.
Well, just go get a sheet t-shirt that says I'm stupid.
Stop it. Don't encourage me.
Well, you believe it. You actually take it on as if it was the gospel.
I know. And I'll talk like it too. And sometimes I'll
But you
even,
know what? You get a special attention when you're stupid too. They feel sorry for you. Oh, you're crying.
not how I think. But what I notice is sometimes I'll act blonde in the sense of like I'll act like I don't know something because it's safer not to know.
See,
And I
look, you use it to get attention too. Look at that.
know I use it to avoid giving out information. So like especially with men, if they will ask me for information, I'll be like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know where I live anymore. Oh, there's a bridge by my house. I didn't know that."
Well, you use that dumb one. That's the benefit to being dumb. You just act
There is a
stupid.
There is a
Absolutely.
benefit to it to avoid attention from men.
Hmm. Clever.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well,
All
see,
right.
look,
Change it all.
there's a positive side to everything.
Oh, well, I need to change it all.